Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya Aviravir Mayedhi Rudrayatte Dakshinam Mukham Tena Mam Pahi Nityam Om Shanti 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 Om Shakti Samudra Samutsatarangam Darshita Prema Vijrumbhitarangam Samshaya Rakshasa Nasha Mahastram Yami Gurum Sharanam Bhava Vaidyam Advaya Tattva Samahita Chittam Projvala Bhakti Patavrita Vrittam Karma Kalevaram Adbhuta Cheshtam Yami Gurum Sharanam Bhava Vaidyam Naradeva Deva Jaya Jaya Naradeva. I offer my respectful salutations to Srimad Swami Suhitananda Ji, who is the chairman of the session this morning, revered Swami Gautamananda Ji, and revered General Secretary, Manager Maharaj, and all the other senior Swamis, and my love and best wishes to all the Brahmacharyas and junior Swamis, and my respects and regards to all the devotees, the alumni, the invited guests. How to apply the teachings of Sri Ramakrishna, Sharada Devi, and Swami Vivekananda, and the disciples of Sri Ramakrishna who created this great Ramakrishna Sampradaya, this tradition in our daily life, is a very important subject of discussion because, as Swami Vivekananda beautifully said, we are great talkers, but we can't apply the teachings in daily life. Swamiji said, 1 ounce of practice is worth 20,000 tons of big talk. He said, there is no religion on earth which talks about the glory of the human soul in such lofty strains as Hinduism, and there is no religion which tramples on the necks of the poor and the downtrodden as much Hinduism does. And he says, by the grace of the Lord I have discovered the secret. The secret is, nothing new is necessary. All the great knowledge is there in the old scriptures. Only they have to be applied in daily life. For the first time, he made a Vedanta a vibrant philosophy which is applicable in daily life. The dry, abstract Advaita should become poetic and living in everyday life. That is Swamiji's vision. And he created this extraordinary organization called the Ramakrishna Math and the Ramakrishna Mission to actualize this vision of practicalizing Vedanta, actualizing it in our daily life, and create a movement which is so powerful as to transform society and create what Swamiji said, a Vedantic civilization. Swamiji was once asked, what is your idea of Vedantic society of civilization? Swamiji said, that society is the greatest in which the highest ideals can become the most practical. So what are the ideas which we get from Swami Vivekananda, Ramakrishna and Holy Mother, which we can apply in individual life as individual spiritual aspirants and sadhakas and sadhikas, as well as collectively for contributing to the transformation of society and changing the thought current, as Vivekananda said, in new channels. When he established this Belur Math, the famous small talk which he gave, in which he said, the monks of this order will turn the thought current of the society in new channels. What do we learn from Sri Ramakrishna? Just by looking at him, you know the sheer simplicity of his appearance. Simplicity and transparency are two things which are becoming obsolete these days. In these days of glamour mongering and advertisement, even in the spiritual world, simplicity, quietness, and doing things calmly silently, without anybody's knowledge, is slowly becoming absent. We want to show off, parade even our spirituality, as you see everywhere. Glamour mongering is something which is just the antidote of Sri Ramakrishna's teachings. There is this revelation in the Kathamrita, the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, in which he said, "Ekhane ar keo nei, eta gujjo kotha bolchi." সেই দিন যখন হরিশ ছিল, এই খোল থেকে বেরিয়ে এসেছে যার অন্তঃসত্ত্বা, সে বলল, আমি যুগে যুগে অবতীর্ণ হই। আমি অবাক হয়ে শুনলুম, কিন্তু এবারে সাত্বিক ঐশ্বর্য। So he said, when I was sitting there quietly, I am telling you a secret, that a being which is within me came out and told me, I incarnate myself in every age. I was listening with wonderment, and he said, this time it is the glory of Sattva. This is perhaps a very important teaching which we should now learn. This Ramakrishna order and the Ramakrishna Math and the Ramakrishna mission have been silently working for more than a century, in fact 122 years, without any glamour, without any advertisement, and without people even coming to know what we are doing. The dimension of the Ramakrishna mission activity is so stupendous and astounding that it is so breathtaking. Even sometimes when we prepare reports, they said, how much we have done, we ourselves do not know. ঠাকুর বলছেন না, কুবেরের ভান্ডারে কি আছে সে নিজেও জানে না। So much of wealth and so much of potential is there in the order, and we have been silently doing, totally unconscious of our own power. This is one thing which we see in Swami Vivekananda. There is a statement made about Swami Vivekananda by his very dear disciple Josephine MacLeod, who chose to call herself not a disciple but a friend of Vivekananda. She said, the greatness of our master lies in his complete and total unself-consciousness. Swamiji did not even know that it was so great. When he came to Sri Ramakrishna, as you remember, Sri Ramakrishna asked him, তুই রাত্রে শোয়ার সময় একটু জ্যোতি দেখিস? Do you see a light when you're asleep? Swami said, yes. I see a light between my eyebrows, and the ball of light bursts, and I simply sleep off by moving and getting drowned in this ocean of light. That is a state of, should be a very high state of spiritual experience. But Swamiji thought everybody sleeps that way. Swamiji thought that he was one of the many. Swami Turiyananda once said, we thought he was one of us, only extraordinarily talented. How could we ever know that he did not belong to us? He was a class by himself. But the beauty of Swami Vivekananda, if you can study his life and teachings, he was just like a child, as Ramakrishna himself was, that he did not know he was so great. This is one thing we should pick up perhaps in this world of glamour mongering and advertisement, that the devotees and the monks and the followers of Ramakrishna should silently work, and the power of silence and the power of calm, steady work is much more powerful than any advertisement. Swamiji writes in a letter to Alasinga, no glamour mongering, no newspaper humbug, steady, silent work. Now, there is a great movement all over the world called soft power. People are realizing that soft power will conquer in the end, and the hard power, the military power, will ultimately be conquered with the soft power, the Mridu Shakti, which you can see in Sharada Devi, the Holy Mother. She was so soft-spoken, so mild apparently, but she could control even the Purusha Simha, the lion among men, Swami Vivekananda. There is not a single statement of Sri Ramakrishna which Swami Vivekananda accepted without protest. There is not a single statement of Holy Mother Sharada which Swami Vivekananda protested. Because there is, what kind of power she had, simply she said, Noren, এটা কিন্তু এরকম করিস না, এটা পশু বলি দেওয়া, সন্ন্যাসীদের আশ্রম, এটা ঠিক হবে না। He said nothing. So the power of spirit, the power of love, The power of silence is much more overwhelming and conquering. The other lesson which we learn from Sri Ramakrishna is prayer. The power of prayer is something which we do not really understand. Sri Ramakrishna perhaps rarely spoke about japa or dhyana if you read the gospel very carefully. In fact, he used to make fun of Hajra. Hajra shala eto job kore kintu ekhankar sob mat ulte deয়. Dhyana, you should remember, is the penultimate state of the Ashtanga Yoga. It is not easy. But the power of prayer is something which Ramakrishna demonstrated in his daily life. Look at his life. For everything, his only resort was Mother Kali, Divine Mother. For everything. Totapuri has come. Will you do Advaita Sadhana under me? Then I will ask my mother and tell you. Totapuri thought he will go to somebody. He will go to the temple, stands before Mother Kali. Ma, একজন সাধু এসছে আমাকে আরে তোর জন্য তো আনিয়েছি কর অবশ্যই করবি হ্যাঁ mother has accepted I will do sadhana. Totapuri thought this boy is extraordinarily spiritual but so emotional about mother. আমি অদ্বৈত বেদান্ত ওর মাথায় ঢুকালে সব মাথায় ছিট চলে যাবে. Finally, Sri Ramakrishna had Totapuri converted to the worship of the mother. It was reverse. The guru became the disciple. So why I mention this? Because for everything, he is very cross with Hajra. Hajra ekhankar sob mat ulte dicche, ami ma ke bole debo. Goes to the mother, ma, Hajra ke ekhan theke soriye dao. Remove this fellow from here. Comes back to Hajra and says, ma ke bole dilom toke soriye dite ekhan theke. And then after 3-4 days nothing happened. Hajra comes and says, ami to ekhane achi. Tai to তাহলে মায়ের ইচ্ছা নেই আচ্ছা থাক আমরা মিলেমিশে থাকবো. So look at the simplicity of the best person. For every little thing, let us learn this lesson of approaching the divine. Because the divine is something, the only person who can save you. I learned 2 lessons about this from our revered President Maharaj Swami Atmapriyananda ji. As you know, he was 10 years the General Secretary, always relaxed, moving about. Then I asked him, Mother, what is the secret of being relaxed? He said, remember 2 things. Ultimately, the world is not real. Whatever you do, nothing is going to happen to the world. Secondly, have a surrendering, prayerful attitude. The Lord will run His institution according to His whims and fancies or thoughts or whatever. We be an insignificant instrument in His hands. This again goes back to Sri Ramakrishna's great teaching. Advaita Gyan Achale Bende Jaicha Taikor. Sri Ramakrishna mentioned this, and Swami Vivekananda makes this a very important statement in the rules book meant for the Ramakrishna order. He taught this kind of practical Advaitism, the Advaita Gyan Achale Bende Jaicha Taikor. Tie the knot of Advaita in the corner of your cloth and go about doing what you like, which means have the background of Advaita. Ultimately, the world is unreal, God alone is real. If you take the Kathamrita and squeeze it, this one lesson will come back to you again and again. Ishvari vastu arshab vastu, Ishwar laparai jivanar uddeshya. I will end with the 4 sutras which Sri Ramakrishna gave us, which is a great lesson for us. The Chatursutri, Ishwar achen, Pratham Sutra, তাকে উপলব্ধি করা যায় দেখা যায় দ্বিতীয় সূত্র, ঈশ্বর উপলব্ধি করাই জীবনের উদ্দেশ্য তৃতীয় সূত্র। এই দুর্লভ মনুষ্য জন্ম পেয়ে ঈশ্বর লাভ না করতে পারে জীবনটা বৃথা। God is, He can be seen and realized, and the realization of God is the aim of human life. And having attained this rare human birth, a person who does not realize God in this very life has lived in vain. Yaha cheda vedi tata satyamasti na chediha vedin mahati vinashtihi. Kenopanishad. If you realize this truth here and now, you will be greatly blessed. If you can't, your whole life is in vain. So silently let us strive for what Vivekananda gave, the grand formula for the modern age. Atmano mokshartham jagat hitaya cha. And he who sees in secret shall reward thee openly, as Jesus the Christ said. Namaskar.